Something that we do know a lot about, Greg, is live action adaptations of animated films. And the latest one is coming from DreamWorks. DreamWorks has been watching Disney do this for the last 15 years and was like, hey, we also own beloved animated IP that we could probably just double dip and make a second time.
Hey, we're out of ideas too.
Um,
Can we do this? That's basically how the
yeah,
meeting went.
which is what what brings us to the live action trailer for How to Train Your Dragon. Greg, fire it up. Fire that bad boy up. Yes, this is coming hot off the presses, folks. This is a live action trailer for the DreamWorks How to Train Your Dragon movies, and it looks essentially like a one-to-one recreation of the animated film. That island that he's on in the beginning looks like the island from the end of Force Awakens. I also forget the name of the kid. Pipsqueak or Hiccup?
But you will.
I think Hiccup. Yeah, Hiccup is the name of the kid.
I'm a Viking. I'm a Viking.
Looks good. I will say that I think that it's. He said that the trailer is way louder than us, Greg. We can turn that down just a bit. I will say that I think the look of it is good. Like just the way the Vikings look, the sets, the landscapes, the ships. Even Toothless looks really good. Like it actually looks like the cat. Like a lot of times when you get these animals, like you see what they're doing to my boy Stitch in the live action Lilo and Stitch, like sometimes they just look really creepy and scary. But like live action Toothless, I mean that's what Toothless looks like, you know. It isn't all that bad. I think the issue is just that the How to Train Your Dragon movies are so beloved, and people look at them as like some of the great animated movies of like the 21st century, the rare non-Disney, non-Pixar beloved animated franchises, you know. And then people are just like, what do we gain from this? Squire says, is this a sequel or a remake? This is a remake. This is a remake of the original animated How to Train Your Dragon, which at this point that came out in like 2009, I think. At this point, How to Train Your Dragon is old. Yeah, live action. Where it's just it's you just can't get past the feeling of this. Just like we're just double dipping. You're right, Squires. It could be okay. Then I don't think it looks bad. That's the like saddest part about it. Is I watch and I'm like, yeah, it doesn't look like a bad movie. It looks better than a lot of the live action remakes that we get done. But it is like it would have been so cool if DreamWorks was like, we've got a new live action film coming out. People are like, oh shit. TJ's in the chat says Toothless seemed a little less expressive in the live action than the original, which is a little thing, but such a charming bit of the original. Yeah, it's like you only stand to lose things, right? Because that's the issue, right? Because even when you do it right, even when you do a good adaptation, you just can't imitate or recreate the expression achievable in animation or the effects or the movements. You just can't do it in live action. Like something's lost, Even the best live action adaptations suffer from that, which is I think why so many people,
much more subtle. Like if you can get more mileage out of it, if it's more like with human expression than animation expression, animation has to be over the top. You can do more things with it, so you're very expressive. I mean, you can be expressive too, but then like you look like Jim Carrey, and Jim Carrey, that's not something you want to do in a drama. You know what I mean? But there's just that's the difference, and that's why The Lion King sucked. Because everything just looked like they were flat-faced. They had no emotion to any of their faces. Line delivery, sure, but it's not their faces. They were just very deadpan faces.
Yeah, you can't get Mufasa's like evil grin and glare, in live action. You can't have a realistic looking lion cheese and show all of its teeth.
Yep.
TJ says it's a huge deal for characters that don't talk. Emoting heavily makes all the difference.
Yeah.
Yep, exactly. And then he says, I'm just trying to figure out if the fans of the OG will care or have they aged out of this. I would like to ask some, because I was never a big How to Train Your Dragon person. I remember when it came out, I was young, but it wasn't like my franchise. I think I was just kind of a latecomer to it, so I don't have much of a dog, or I don't have much of a horse in this race, but I would like to find someone who was like a diehard How to Train Your Dragon kid and see what they think of this.
Just pretend it's what's a childhood, because I was gonna say Scream, but that's too old. Like just pretend it's.
Well, they've already done that. I mean, Lilo and Stitch is one they're doing next year, which that's like one of my favorite animated movies ever. They're doing a live action Lilo and Stitch in 2025, which there's no trailer for it yet, but they showed live action Stitch running around, so we've seen what that looks like.
I think it comes down, like, I love saying this on the stream, but I'll say it, and I'll say it as many times as possible. Like my friend coined this phrase for movies like this. They're disposable movies. So like, they're remakes that either are if they're one for one, everyone's mad that they didn't change anything. If they change too much, they're mad not too much later. So like it's a dangerous territory to enter with anyway. But it comes out, makes $200 million, goes in the trash, and we go on to the next live action remake and rinse and repeat until people stop seeing these movies. That's gonna keep happening. Like the Little Mermaid was, when it came out, was such a, like, when it was announced, it was so much bullshit controversy, right? And it made a shit ton of money, but then it goes in the garbage, and then it moves on, and now we're into the next one. Like, it's not gonna be that movie that you watch 30 years from now that changes everything, right? And like, not every movie is, but like, it's definitely not gonna be a remake of an animated movie that revolutionized animation or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, it's definitely not gonna be that.
Well, I mean, kids might.
Oh, no,
I mean,
like,
you
they're disposable. Kids, oh, that was great. Throwing trash. Next movie.
Well, no, I'm saying kids might watch the Little Mermaid remake in 30 years and be like, I remember seeing this when I was 10 years old. I mean, you won't because you're an adult in your late 30s, but I mean, a child might.
Only time will tell, right? That's the hard thing, right? That's the hard thing. But I feel like so many of these movies, including this, like the CGI is so, like, were there puppets in this? I didn't read anything about them using actual, like, mechanical stuff. It's all CGI. Like, it's starting to look, every movie's starting to look the same. So production designers, like, all the CGI looks exactly the same as any other CGI movie. So it all starts to blend and like mold into like one like ugly glob. And it's not really ugly. It just looks very copy paste. You know what I mean? Like, what is it doing differently? Oh, if it did it too differently, everyone hates it, right? So I don't know. I think why bother? I mean, and I say that in a way because also, like, when a studio like Universal does something original and it completely tanks because it doesn't have a fan base. You know what I mean? So I see why they do this. Like, I get it. It's money. Like, I mean, it's a guaranteed return on a certain percentage of people who love the original to go see it. So it's less of a risk to do this. You know, yeah, there'll be controversy. Like the Little Mermaid remake, there will be controversy up the wazoo for like stupid reasons, but like it'll still make a shit ton of money. So it's a safe bet. You know what I mean? It's a definite safe bet. It's like betting. I don't do sports betting, but if Ravens were gonna win the game 90-1, you would bet on the Ravens, right? It's just a sure thing. You know what I mean? It's a safer bet than doing something original that costs just as much, that could just completely tank and cost the studio hundreds of millions of dollars. So I get it.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe you solve this by doing things slower, and maybe, I don't know, doing, like, I don't really recognize anyone in this trailer, so they're a bunch of newcomers, which is kind of cool. Like, I don't recognize anybody, like, as a household name. That's cool. You know, that's how you save money. Don't hire The Rock to be in your $300 million Christmas movie. You know what I mean? Like, give other people the chance, and it does open doors for that. It does certain things, but I don't know. I feel it's just unnecessary.
I want to call out a few comments here. Arm Squire says, I have no hate for this. I think it's for a new generation of kids. Yeah, I think that's a read to have on it too. And I'm sure there are kids who will watch this and enjoy it. I mean, I might check it out and fucking enjoy it for all I know. Denny says, live action Moana. Yeah, that's one that I think just today they post like a set picture of all of them like next to the boat.
So unnecessary.
Which is that one's funny just because Moana 2, the animated one, comes out next week, which I can't wait for that movie. That's gonna be great.
The first one's great. The first one's really good.
I love Moana. And then TJ says, the original How to Train Your Dragon is that iconic thing surviving for decades that Greg is talking about, though. I'd happily sit down to the original. I can't imagine people choosing this over the original more than a month after release at home options. Yeah, probably not. I guess it just depends on, like, if people have even seen the original, right? Like, there are people who are going to watch this that never saw the animated How to Train Your Dragon. That's just the truth. I mean, it won't be us, but, like, there are people who will, you know? The same way today where, like, they remake a movie from the 80s and people have feelings about it, but there are a lot of people who watch it today that just never saw the original from the 80s, and that's just, like, what it is, you know? Like, there will be a 9-year-old out there who, when they think of How to Train Your Dragon, they just think of this live-action movie, you know? And maybe when they're in high school, they'll find out that there was animated movies 20 years ago, and they'll go find them and watch them on Netflix, but, yeah, I think that the people...
They'll be watching their movies vertically. I think.
Yeah.
2-hour movie on their phone, vertical.
Yeah, they'll flip their TVs vertical in their wall and watch them that way. But yeah, so I think those are the people who are gonna latch onto this one. But no, I mean, I'm sure people who love the original will probably stick with that one.
I think my phrase stands. It is a disposable movie. Like, people will watch How to Train Your Dragon is something people will revisit 30 years from now. Like, there's a reason that movie got, what is it, 4 or 5 sequels? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it did.
Just 3.
There's
just 3 of them.
3 sequels. I think 3 sequels. Didn't it get TV show too? I would expect you to know
TV
this. Though.
show.
This, is,
I think
this
there
was
was
this was
like
in your
a
wheelhouse, but I think you were just slightly too old. You were like 13 when it came out, so you're just slightly too old
maybe,
for it.
yeah.
You
I
got to
think
be
there
like
might have
8
been a
to.
TV. There might have been a TV spinoff, but there's only 3 movies. The
Okay.
third one just came out a couple years ago
Right.
and was like the end of the series.
I mean, there's a reason that people like those characters, and like those are the things that It's just it's a tough business. People are in this business to make money, and how many flops do we see on the show all the time that are original ideas with a star-studded cast and they make no money? You know what I mean? So like it makes sense. Like until these stop making money, we're gonna keep seeing them. That's the big thing. And the thing that bugs me about it is like, oh, we just want to see how the Moana is, like how the live action Moana is, or this How to Train Your Dragon is. We just want to see if it's good. Well, joke's on you. They get their, if it's bad, they got your money. Period. That's the problem. Like with theoretical releases, if it's bad, you wasted 2 hours of your life and they took your money. Streaming's more accessible, right? So I could see that maybe this like stuff taking on streaming. I think the director for the Santa Claus Red Rock movie said they were going to make their money on Amazon Prime. Like they were expecting to get their money on Amazon Prime, not in theoretical release. You can check that for me, Donovan. I'm pretty sure I read that in my RSS feed a couple days ago. But you're in this business to make money, and this is a very very safe IP with an already established fan base where you don't have to Q&A test. But at the same time, there's already controversy going on about this stupid movie. There's always controversy, always. Not just the fact that it's live action, but like I guess they reverse whitewash the character. I don't even like they're not happy with the love interest in this movie. It's bullshit.
No, they're saying controversy, Greg. It's just racism, is what you're talking about. We can just call it what it is.
Yeah, it's just racism. Yeah.
Astrid, who is white in the animated movies, is being played by a biracial actress in the new one. I forget her name. I think she was I think she was in something else, maybe The Last of Us or something. But it's a biracial actress playing the character. It's the same reason people were mad at The Little Mermaid, because they made Ariel black.
Everyone's like, oh, but it's Scandinavia. She's supposed to be white. I'm like, dude, white people have been in movies for like 200 years. Like, give other people a chance. Like, come on, man. Like, it can't just be white people in movies forever. Like, come on.
That we're not giving credence to, because that's not even that is a sick minority of the people online.
But there's
I also want to say
the most obnoxious thing is that they're the loudest. They're everywhere. They're what all the trash journalist outlets cover. Like when there's a comment, it's just awful. Ugh.
Well, they're not gonna go away if we don't stop talking about them. I do want to give a shout out to I think his name it's pronounced Mason Thames or Thames, the main character in this, who's playing Hiccup. He was the kid in The Black Phone, which was the horror movie a few years ago from Scott Derrickson.
Okay.
Yeah, that's him.
Okay. That's the thing I want to say. Like, that's the one thing that I like about these movies is that it's a completely new cast. Like, I'm just not seeing AAA celebrities in movies, and I really can appreciate that because this is their chance.
Well, How to Train Your Dragon is about like a 10-year-old boy. There's no AAA celebrity for them to cast as that character.
Well, they hired the actor who just sounds like a 10-year-old boy. That's the take it around.
Yeah, but I want to give him a shout out because Black Phone's great. He's great in it, and they're making a sequel that's coming out. I think it's filming right now.
They had a haunted house on that, but Nicole wouldn't go on it. She doesn't watch horror with me, so I can't watch any horror movies.
That's okay, Nicole. Black Phone's good though. You guys would like it because it's like a period piece. I think it's set during it's either the 80s or the 70s. Might be 70. I think it's like late 70s. But very good movie. And hey, only time will tell if the live action How to Train Your Dragon will be a very good movie. But until then, folks, you should follow the live stream, hit that heart. In fact, go ahead and hit that notification bell while you're at it so that you're notified every single time the Shacknews Twitch channel goes live. Of course, you should follow us not only on Twitch, but on all the social media platforms because we're on X at Shacknews. We're on Instagram at Shacknews Media. Facebook, just search up Shacknews and you'll find us. And Greg Burke mans our 3 YouTube channels, not 1, not 2, but 3 YouTube channels. Greg, how are things going over there these days?
They're doing good. In fact, I'm just reading it. I went down to the comment section real fast. There's a comment that has 100,000 likes, and it says an animated version of this would be sick. How far before we go back around? We're like, oh, the remake. Okay, now we're gonna do another remake, but it's gonna be animated remake for a new generation. Like,
that'll happen.
Oh yeah, totally will. Yeah, totally will. All right. The lots of stuff. I've been working on some long form stuff. I don't know if I can talk about it on live stream, but we're working on some long form stuff that should be going up before the end of the year. Of course, we have our awards to give out at the end of the year too. which is kind of cool
Yep.
because that's
We're already working on that
that's
behind the scenes.
yeah, that there's a lot of that goes into it at the end of the year, and of course interviews, gameplay. Not so much reviews anymore. We're changing the format of reviews a little bit next year, so. But like lots of gameplay, shorts, interviews, original content, all the 2 channels, and of course the VODs channel at Shacknews VODs, where you can watch this and all the other stuff we stream every week, because we do stream every week. We do exist, whether you like it or not. We exist.
Whether you like it or not, we do exist.
That should be out the top of our website.
Yeah, whether you like it or not, we do exist.
We
That'd
do
be a good
exist.